Open fire.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Foocast. My name is Finn and today I am joined by Robert. nice little opening you got there. Just
I know. It's great.
I thought I was going to have to stop it and rush you to the hospital. Okay, once again I will not be joined by Robert because he contracted COVID-19.
I did.
It's not good, you should probably get yourself checked out. Oh no, he tracked it from Stuart. But yeah, today we are actually going to be talking about the episode 15 of The Bad Batch, which is basically technically part 1 of the finale, which we literally just watched together about 20 minutes ago?
About 30 minutes.
Something like that. But yeah, going into this episode, I had a lot of expectations because obviously we're not going to have any more filler episodes. Well, I'm not going to say that every single episode has been filler, I'm just saying that they've been
real boring.
Yeah, they've not been story stuff. You know, sort of just been And I also found out that I told you before this episode aired is that it's written by the dude who did the Umbar arc. So there's like a bit of excitement. And this episode, I liked it.
I liked it too.
It was a bit basic in a few areas.
It was basic, yeah.
It didn't take as many risks as I thought it would.
Just before we go any further, I do find it funny how at the beginning of the episode, the opening title was just called Return to Camino. And we were all just there, whoa, I wonder where they're going to be going.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't call that the episode, because it was just called Finale Part 1.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they just forgot.
I think that's just what they do to give it time.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing a lot of the descriptions of episodes as well.
It could have been something where instead if it just says Return to Camino, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is what the episode is going to be about.
I mean, it literally says that when you get into the episode, right?
Yeah.
It's like the opening thing. Before you even see Camino, you know they're going to Camino.
Yeah, I wish they didn't do that. With, whatchamacallit, the opening of, the Siege of Mandalore stuff, getting to the finale stuff, it had, different titles, different music.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool. But majority of this episode, I liked, it's not a super memorable episode, but it did some...
Yeah, I'd say.
I'm just happy at least we're getting some stuff.
The memorable episodes of this show, I'd say.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's I was saying last episode where, even though the shows had a lot of filler and just underwhelming episodes, you could kind of make an arc out of it.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
the good stuff, the semi-good stuff, and the shit.
Yeah, obviously include this episode, so let's just get straight into it. So, Hunter, obviously, is going straight to Camino, right?
Yeah.
And, because I was really hoping that they do some really interesting stuff with Crosshair this episode, and I'm actually walking out of the episode, I'm glad that they did.
I'm glad they did something.
let's just get straight into the Crosshair stuff real quick. What was your thoughts on what they did with him?
I think my silence probably spoke volumes, but I wasn't shocked at all. I was just kind of oh, okay.
To be honest,
I was semi-right in my theory in the last episode about him, not being under mind control anymore, and that he would help the Bad Batch. I was semi-right, but he was still a prick.
Yeah. Well, I had the guessing that he still was, and, what was I say? He still was, but, they'd find a way to get his chip out, and then he'd be on the good side again. I gotta admit, I was kind of shocked when it was just I had my chip removed ages ago, and...
That was ages ago. crosshairs? When was that? Tell me specifically. When
Well,
the
they did
fuck
say
was
it
it?
was a long time ago, and I'm guessing it
It was
was
like as soon as
after.
they left Camino the first time.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing a long time ago was when he took a flipping jet engine to the face.
He's like, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it surgically removed it from his head.
Yeah,
Engines can do
it's the
that.
same with like how Gregor's thing was, wasn't it? It's like, oh, the
Yeah, it's just like,
explosion.
yeah, it's like you gotta explain how this happened.
Yeah,
Or
it
not.
seems like there's more faulty chips than working chips, to be honest with you.
It really does. Like, it's a fucking miracle that the Empire managed to kill the fucking Jedi.
Yeah. Like, I like when it was activated, I'm like, at this rate, it'd probably be like, oh, there's a Bluetooth error, or some software needs to be updated.
It's been disconnected, Wi-Fi's gone down.
Yeah, that's how it does kind of seem like.
That
But
seems,
to
yeah.
me, it's kind of interesting what they did with him in terms of, because you've seen loads of clones obey Order 66, right? And I think it's kind of cool how Crosshair was under Order 66. Now that his chip's taken out, you think that he'd go back to like having free will and doing all sorts, but it's kind of cool to see a clone.
Yeah, he's just a trickster, really.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see a clone, like now that he's not under Order 66 anymore. He still obeys those orders.
Yeah,
Which
I think most actually did as well. At least a few did.
Mm,
I think it's just the first one that's significant enough
yeah.
in any medium.
I do think it's pretty cool though, where it's just like, it's your inhibitor chip, and he's just like, I had my chip removed a long time ago, and it was like a moment just like, oh shit. Like, I'm pretty sure I was like the only one in that call who was just like actually generally shocked by that. You guys were just like, oh.
Yeah, me and Stuart were just kind of like, oh, that makes sense.
I think it's cool though, to be fair.
Yeah, it is cool. It's just, I don't know, something about it irks me, but I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it's just that I haven't been liking the show.
I just wasn't
So
expecting
every decision
it.
upsets me.
It subverted my expectations, but in this instance, I think it was a good choice.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty cool.
I think the reason I didn't expect it because me and Stu have been joking. Well, we've all been joking about how like I'm funny if like Crosshair's even under the influence of the chip,
He's
and
just
it's
a
just
prick.
a trick anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we actually did that.
Yeah, like we've been joking. It's like the same with, remember, you were saying ages ago in WandaVision, just like, oh, imagine if Ralph was actually Quicksilver, ha ha ha, and then it turned out to be.
Oh yeah, and I remember me and Stu would be joking about, oh, imagine if like Loki and Sylvie banged, and then it turns out that's what they actually were going for. And we were like, oh.
Well, kind of. Like, I wish that when the show started, but like, oh my god, could you imagine if this show just didn't have filler as a joke? I wish that actually happened.
Yeah.
'Cause every time we take the mick out of something, it actually happens.
Comes true.
It does. Well, yeah. What do you think of the stuff that they did on Camino?
I think it was alright.
Yeah.
It's like we were all saying, it's a bit stupid how like they got into what was it? Is it not a safe room or was it another bitch?
I don't know which AirPod bitch it was, but
Yeah, but do you know when Omega was like, oh, you guys are made in here next to me? Like, first of all, I was like, why didn't Omega just fucking say that? There's no reason she couldn't have told him this at the beginning that they all made together. And secondly, are you telling me the big reveal is that the Bad Batch were made on a lab on Camino? Like, whoa. That's like huge.
well,
Huge
I
big
think
law
I think the point
implications.
is that she was there to witness their sort of birth in a way.
She's like, is she a midget then? Because
Well-
like, she must be really fucking old.
Well, I think if you think about it, Omega's the oldest one out of the Bad Batch now, and they've been calling her kid.
Like, shit, she's an adult. She's our mum.
Well,
She's gonna
not
ground
exactly.
her. She's ground
but-
Hunter. She's gonna ground Hunter. That's what's gonna happen next.
Well,
next
that's
episode,
why the
about
Bad
ground
Batch all
Hunter.
listen to her. She's
They
the oldest one.
secretly knew.
Subconsciously, then I was like, oh, like, she's like a mum. But yeah, I think something that really made me happy is they used the same score from Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan sort of went to Camino, like like that, and just in the animation, Camino looks amazing, like the lighting and all the rain just coming down as well.
Yeah, for me, I don't really get. I recognise the music the first time it came on, but I didn't really like. To me, I heard it. I was just like, oh, that's interesting, and like I didn't really pay much attention to it just because I didn't really give a shit that much about it being like the same music. score that they used.
I just get really happy when they reuse musical scores. It's like when
I like it, but it doesn't really do much for me. I'm just like, oh yeah, it doesn't really like change anything of the story.
well, I just like it. It's like when the MCU reuses some scores.
Hmm.
It's like there'll be a really good score from Ant-Man 1. I'll be like, please use that in the future, and then they do.
Yeah, and I get that. Just it doesn't really do anything for me when I watch stuff.
Yeah, it was just cool, like just building like the aesthetic of just like coming onto Camino. Yeah. It just added something. Like if they use any other score, it wouldn't be as good. But the fact that it's just like, oh, it's this one. Okay, this is cool.
I forgot. Something happened in the episode that made us all laugh.
Was it when I referred to what was that guy's name?
Sergeant Chris.
Yeah, I referred to him as Sergeant Chris. What was his name? I can't remember.
I don't know. It's Admiral something.
James or something. Or Harms.
I'm just fucking calling him Sergeant Chris.
Sergeant generic as fuck.
Pretty much.
Sergeant, because we've seen it like 1,000 times in Rebels, but...
Oh my god. I remember how scared I got when they were on this planet.
Okay, yeah. Everyone watching, because you guys know how much we just not a big fan of Sid episodes. And then literally as we went from Camino and it just cut back to the planet where Sid was on, me and Robert were freaking out. We were just like,
I literally screamed fuck.
Yeah, Robert went, oh for fuck! All of us were just like, nah.
I got PTSD from seeing that location.
Dude, I
think they were just like, oh yeah, we just left Gregor with Sid. And we were like, oh...
I don't mind them leaving Gregor, I just wish we saw him.
Yeah, just saw him like
injured.
walk off in the distance. he just dies. I mean, like, doesn't make Rebels make any sense.
Where's Gregor? Oh, he's dead. Sid killed him.
she's eating his corpse right now.
Oh, she's making him into a fruitcake. That's my awful impression of Wrecker.
Yeah, I freaked out. It was terrifying when I saw that planet.
Yeah, I was really worried. But I'm glad that they didn't... Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't overstay their welcome on that planet.
I hope that fucking planet gets blown up by the Death Star. I hate it. I genuinely despise that planet. Like, actually no, I don't hope the planet gets blown up. I hope the Death Star specifically targets Sid and kills her.
Well, it's not Sid I hate. It's the fact that she's just overused, and every time I see her, I just get tired.
Yeah, she just makes him do mediocre.
It's like I don't hate. It's like I don't hate Omega, but the fact that she's overused way too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like with what she's... Yeah, like they overuse the trope of Omega being the one to convince the Bad Batch to actually do shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the Bad Batch are like level 90 right now, and Sid is making them do level 10 missions. That's what it feels like. Yeah. It's like, you don't need to do this stuff anymore.
No, what it's like is that it's like, you know, when you play a game for ages and you accidentally come on, you're like, oh, my game save has been reset, or I'm back to stage 1, but you're just that good already.
Yeah. You have to, like, fucking speed through it.
It's like, you know, when you see, like, the Bad Batch kidnapped and Omega goes to do something, it's like, oh, yeah, she's actually doing something, but the fact that you see it every single episode, it's just like, okay, I'm not excited anymore.
It's like, bleh.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, there comes a time when you keep doing the same fucking thing over and over again, but it becomes less interesting and boring each time because you know it's going to turn out just fine.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah.
But
also, I remember saying this during the episode when we were watching it, but I realised the problem with the Bad Batch is that they are inactive protagonists, in the fact that they don't drive the plot forward.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't know what the fucking plot is still.
Well, beforehand they had no purpose, they were just going along doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, even now, the only reason they're in the finale doing it isn't because of something they wanted to do. It's because fucking they got a call from Rex, random. It's like just a random call from Rex, and that led them into the finale, and it just so happens to be that it's the finale that they got led into.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they haven't done anything to drive the plot forward. I mean, they haven't done anything to develop their characters or the fucking story they're trying to tell. And the Bad Batch has been kind of ending up in places just randomly because, well, that's what the writers want to happen.
I get what you mean. I feel like there's so much more that they could have done on Camino, but the way it was used in this episode, it was just fine. I did think there was a really cool moment where I think one of the a really cool moment on Camino was when you had Hunter being escorted by Crosshair, and Hunter was just like, "Well, where's all the regs? Where's all this stuff?" And I think it was just cool seeing that Camino just populated by sort of like the Empire, like just seeing like none of those like Kaminoans, and just like the lack of clones. It felt like a completely different place. Yeah, and I wish they utilized that more. To be honest with you.
I do as well.
Because Kamino was such an essential place in Star Wars, and they sort of, there was so much missed potential of just Kamino, the whole thing.
This is what the show should have been called, Bad Batch for Missed Potential.
Yeah, the missed potential. The show, Omega and the missed potential.
After when you're talking about that scene, I was thinking about what Stuart said.
What did he say?
You were there, man, you heard him.
I don't know what bit you're talking about. He said a lot
Hunter's an idiot. Hunter's an idiot about like, all the Kaminoans and Rogue have been decommissioned, and then Hunter's Crosshair's like, oh yeah, they have, and then Hunter's like, oh well, they're gonna start decommissioning clones in a minute, and it's just like, oh they've already done that. You just said it, Hunter.
Oh yeah. All the clones have been decommissioned. Yes, they have. Looks like they're going to start decommissioning clones next. I mean, he's got a point.
He's got a point, but it's already fucking happened. What an idiot, man.
Yeah,
Hunter's a fool.
I did like the I think what made this episode for me was the interaction between Hunter and Crosshair the whole time. It was... Because if you go back and rewatch it, you know when he says that you're in here with the chip, Crosshair sort of dodges the question.
True. I do wish that they start putting emphasis on Hunter, though. Because, like, the Bad Batch are brothers, and, like, Crosshair's only interacted with Hunter and not really, like, the others that much.
Yeah, and I'm like, actually.
And I'm like, this is so fucking weird. It's like, you might as well have just made the show just Hunter and Omega, and then Crosshair as the villain. Like, Tech, Echo, and Wrecker just barely seem like they're there, like they're part of the group. That much. Well, really
it seems that they're part of the group, but in terms of characterization, they're just sort of they're there to carry the action. You know.
Yeah, it's very much a show driven by. Thing is, a show like this, I feel like needed to be driven by the characters, but it hasn't. Since they haven't really, we didn't know what the fucking plot of the show was meant to be, and if that's the case, it should have been about the characters, but it wasn't. Well, like a show like, well, you know, Doom Patrol, that has like the first season, they never really, like, the plot wasn't really mentioned all that much. Like, we knew what the plot of the show was, but it just wasn't emphasized that much because they spent like the build up to the finale on character development, and it was really great because they got the characters where they needed to be for the finale, which made the finale epic.
Yeah.
But with this, it's just they haven't set up any plot and they haven't set up any of the characters, so it's empty and shallow, and I'm like, yeah, you need to work on your mind a bit.
I care what's happening, but I'm not as invested as the showrunners want me to be.
Yeah, we're not as invested as I feel like they thought we would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then going back to my thing about them being inactive protagonists as well, is that because, like, I saw something with inactive protagonists is that, like, they're driven by what other characters are making them do, and not necessarily their own actions. What they want to do, like, yeah, characters that are driven by their own actions, doing their own thing, are, like, more interesting to watch because you know what's going on and you know what's building up to. With the Bad Batch, they're just getting, like,
I don't know what they want to do.
Yeah. Like, their goal this entire show was to survive. That's not enough to just carry a fucking one season of the show, you know?
Also, you know what you were saying, like, the show needs to be more character focused, right? If you think about it, their arc in season 7 was purely action focus, and that was it's like going into the show, it's like, right, you see what they can do, now let's find out them as characters. But they
didn't really focus on the characters, and they didn't focus on the action all too much until, like, these last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it really feels like they didn't want to do 16 episodes, but they wanted to do more like 5 or 8, but for some reason they did 16. And I don't know if that's because of, like, they genuinely fucked up on the writing, or if Disney made them do it, or if they just decided they wanted to do 16 themselves. like I can't work it out, and it could be
I
any of
don't
those.
think that Disney had any major
Yeah,
origins
I
for
don't
it.
think either. Main reason I don't think so is because we do know Dave Filoni now, the creative, like he's the head of the creative team for
Yeah.
Star Wars now, pretty much. So I doubt they'd interfere with him.
Yeah, it's just
So
Filoni has a
it
lot
makes
of
me
hits and a lot
question
of
the show.
misses.
Yeah, and I feel like this show's been one big mess, pretty much. Which is sad to say, because I don't want it to be.
because I was
I want
really
it to be
excited
great.
about it.
But so far, it's just generic action show.
Yeah.
It's what it feels like.
It's like, if I wants to go, like, the only reason I'd watch a show is for some kick-ass action. And there's not, like, 100% a lot of that. Like, I thought the action in this episode was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I like how they had to sneak onto this little landing pad and then they take like a little tunnel thing. And it's just, when they would just say, oh, Crosshair would never expect that. Half of me was just like, okay, I'm pretty sure he's going to expect that because he knows their strategy.
I was as well. I was actually thinking that, and I was like, that's the stupidest thing that they've ever said. Of course Crosshair is going to think that. He was on your team.
Yeah.
He knows how you think.
Yeah.
He's going to know what you're going to do.
Yeah. Like,
if anything, he wouldn't have expected you to come through the front door.
Yeah.
That would have been the most logical decision to do.
I bet all the other clones who just don't have the same mindset as them are just like, did they seriously coming through the fucking front door?
Yeah, it's like, I would have thought, what idiots.
It's like, I like them fighting all the droids and stuff, but at the same time it was just Omega accidentally released way too many.
Yeah, I know. I was saying as well how the fucking droids in the first episode when we fought they were really fucking hard to take down.
Yeah.
And then here they're just having no problem with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I think one of my highlights was the Crosshair just like flipping. That reference from season 7 where he shoots all those individual little bouncy pad things.
Oh, yeah.
The moment I saw that, I was just like, okay, now I think I know what's going to happen. He just slaughtered all of them.
Yeah, at that point, I thought my fear about him actually being good was going to come true.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. But then it wasn't. Well, I was like 45% right, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
I was a bit off. On my theory.
Yeah, but just round it up. That's basically, you were half right. Round that up.
Yeah. But, like, it does make me wonder how the fuck he got that into position, since he probably walked down there with Hunter and those other troopers anyway. So I'm like, when would he have time to have set that up?
Well,
That's my question.
I don't really think of it as stuff like, oh, did he have enough time to, do that? Because you can say that about, like, a lot of things.
True, but this just feels a bit too contrived for me to get them into a moment where they had to team up with Crosshairs to fight off.
Yeah, it's like
fucking Omega release.
If it was against Crosshair's men, then that would have been cool. But it was just fighting droids.
Like it fighting droids, which meant nothing.
Yeah.
Like if Crosshairs turned on his troops, that would have meant something because those are actually real people.
Yeah.
They're the people he fought with. But those are the fucking droids that Omega released too much of. I'm like, are you telling me the biggest fight in this fucking episode was something Omega accidentally did?
Yeah.
That felt really silly to me.
I think that my favourite part of this episode, which is probably one of my favourite moments of the entire show, where it's just like, it's not you, Crosshair, it's your inhibitor chip. I had man remove, and everyone's reactions and stuff. And the fact that he was just like, join me, and then just Crosshair's such a cool character. I love Crosshair.
I like him. He's definitely been fucked over by the show though. Like they could have done interesting stuff with him, made him way more badass.
Yeah.
Than he actually is, because like so far all he's done is walk around and say stuff. Up until
this episode, I'm fine with. I wish beforehand we got more action stuff with Crosshair.
Yeah, like I'm cool with them just talking and shit, but I feel like if you want to prove that they're a threat, then you should probably fucking show that.
Yeah.
Instead of just like saying stuff.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I do think it's really interesting where he's just like, I had my chip removed and all of this is my own choices. And I think that's a flipping curveball in itself. That's just throwing I just spelled over my keyboard. That's just like throwing like a wrench into the actual, like what we thought was going on.
Yeah, and I agree with what Stuart said as well. After they stunned Crosshairs, I was agreeing with him, like, why have they taken him with them? Like, they know it's not the chip. Like, they know it's just Crosshairs being a prick.
I think they took him with him so they can try and change his mind.
I don't think he'll change his mind, man. He seems pretty dead set on like being a prick to everyone in the galaxy. That's just his name. I'm gonna call him Cross Prick from now on. Or Prick Hair.
Or
Old
ass
Prick,
hair.
that's his name. Wait, no.
Ass hair.
Ass Hair.
Oh,
I'm bald down there as well.
Shut up. But your crosshair impression's really good.
I imagine him saying that, man, when like
We
instead of saying, "Oh, I read my
someone
script,"
you can do.
"Oh my god, I can do Crosshair."
I could do Kingpin and Darth Maul, and Stuart and
I can
Dylan.
do Prick Hair, man.
Stuart can do Terminator, and Dylan can do literally anyone. We finally
Dylan
found
can do
someone
fucking
for you.
Skeleton. I mean Skeletor.
Robert, I'm proud of you, man. We've
Thank
found
you,
it,
thank you.
and we've got it recorded as well.
We have.
This is a discovery, Robert. This is an essential moment in your character arc.
It is.
And
See, and that's one episode before the finale as well.
exactly.
So my character arc has come full circle, just in time for the actual finale.
I know.
Dude.
So when Crosshair gets some good quotes in the future, you can quote it all on Xbox Live.
I can.
Let's go.
I can shout it at people on like Call of Duty.
I think what was a really good moment in this episode, I'm just going to go straight to it. Camino being destroyed looked really cool.
That looked cool. I remember saying during it, because like I assumed they were going to destroy Camino, but when they actually got to do it, I was like, oh, I was just thinking that as a joke. I didn't actually think they were going to do it.
I reckon that they would, because there's like it was the way it was sort of set up. You know, everything's cleared on Camino. They've got all the stuff off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just the thing is that all this missed potential that they could have done on Camino. Like, you know what would have been really cool? I'll say this.
The fucking Clone Rebellion, and they're just missing. They're just fucking. It's not even happening.
Well, I'm not too angry. It's just like if they want to do a thing that's different to mine, go ahead. But you know what would have been really cool?
The problem is they can do that, but I feel like they replaced it with something that's not even cool or like interesting.
Yeah, it's just sort of
just
very
building up,
basic. Yeah, but you know what would have been really cool if like in Camino it's treated this place as like this weird, sinister mind control place where like people go in and they don't come out the same. That would have been really cool.
That would have been cool.
Like Camino.
But instead, they were like, "Hey, why don't we just like evacuate it and then blow it up?"
Yeah, but like it would have been cool if it was sort of what was I going to say? Treated as sort of place where it was like, okay, we need to get the hell off Camino. It's freaking odd. We need to get the hell off.
Yeah, I think it'd been cool if like they actually discovered the Empire was doing experiments there now.
Yeah.
I think that'd been fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of experiments, are they ever going to fucking explain what that fucking thing was on that mining colony?
I don't know.
You remember during that episode?
I know what you mean.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. See, this show has a bunch of like. It had a bunch of plot threads that are just completely disconnected and don't ever get mentioned or referenced.
Yeah,
or
this is why I'm excited to talk about that video where like Bad Batch ideas and what could happen.
Yeah, and it's just like if it was more like this season is a setup for season 2 or Book of Boba Fett. That's what
why would you want to make an entire show just setting up something else?
Yeah, that's what irks me about it, because like. I didn't agree with Stuart fully when he said it might be a setup for a Book of Boba Fett, but I'm starting to think it might be.
Maybe.
With like Fennec introduced and then you have Sid. I'm like, I feel like maybe Sid will appear. Yeah. And I'm like, if that is, I'll be so stupid. Because like you made an entire show just to introduce 2 other characters onto another show. Yeah. I'm like, I'm getting sick of this trope of like, oh, you need to have like a previous show to set up for another show. I'm like, just make that show and go with that.
Well, you can say the same thing about Marvel. The reason why Marvel does it is that it makes something really, really good, and the whole emphasis isn't setting something else up.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay when that does it, because it doesn't make it, because it is actually fun to watch.
It's like WandaVision, for example. Like, that's a very much Scarlet Witch story, but there's elements that set up other things, but it's not heavily emphasized on setting up other things.
Same with Loki. Loki was mainly about Loki and his struggle, whilst also being set up the multiverse. But it's not just 100% about setting up the multiverse. Yeah. Especially since he's now heavily tied into that. Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, they're using these characters to push that other story that they're not going to be connected to later. It's like, oh, they are connected to it, but we're just using this to set it up until
Yeah.
they get to that point in the future again.
I know I'm sounding yeah, go on, sorry.
Wait, no, you go first.
Oh, no, you go, because my point is, it expands on your point.
I was going to say you go first, because I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was going to say is that, I know I sound really negative about this episode, and I do like it. It's easier for me to point out, like, things that could have been. And I am pointing out things that I really do like. It's like the animation's great as usual. The stuff with Crosshair and Hunt is really, really great. I just wish they did a few other more things, you know? If I'm going to be honest about stuff, I'm going to point out things that needs to be focused on, like Echo and Tech, for example.
Yeah.
Or just a few other things, you know? So...
A few other characters that need to be focused on, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm not just saying things because I hate this show. I don't hate this show. I'm just, as a massive Star Wars fan, I'm just expressing how I feel.
Yeah, like, even at the beginning of this show, when it first started, I think I was probably the most positive about it. Because, like, I kept giving it really high ratings, pretty much.
Yeah, same.
I think I gave the second episode, like, a 10 out of 10 or something. I'm not too sure.
I think
it might be,
I
like,
did as
an
well.
8 or 10.
Yeah.
Because I was really enjoying what was happening. But then, it kind of just... I don't know. Like, if you binge these podcasts we've done, you could probably, like, hear me getting more and more disappointed with this show.
Yeah, just irritated, like, every single episode.
It was weird, because, like, I didn't even start out like that. Like, I feel like it's a bit rare for me to show my huge disappointment in a show as hard as I have
think
now.
what it is that we were getting just like, oh yeah, it's good, but it's obviously going to get better each episode. I mean, each episode is sort of the same sort of thing.
Like, we kept talking, like, we pointed out the things we had a problem with in the beginning, but those problems became bigger and outshined any of the good stuff that could happen, and the good stuff sadly just didn't happen too much.
Yeah.
You know? Like, Echo not getting enough fucking attention. Really, any of the bad bats not getting any attention. It just became a bigger problem that has just frustrated me to my core.
Yeah, like, please, season 2, listen to, like...
Just the fans, really.
Yeah, listen to us, you know?
Like, I'm cool, like, I understand people who like this show, but I feel like people always need to understand why this show is failing at what it's trying to do. Because it's just, the team aspect just doesn't feel like it's a team aspect. It feels more like the show's about Hunter,
yeah,
and he's just gotten these other 3 guys to go along with him.
If it was a very self-contained season 1 and that's it, where it was just 8 episodes, it could have some proper stakes to it.
Yeah. But, unfortunately, they spread it out to 16 episodes, most of which nothing happened in, and now we're getting into cool stuff, but we're still missing out stuff they could do.
Yeah. I get what you mean, but I just, like, this episode, I did think it left on a good cliffhanger. It's like, obviously they survive, but it's like, you know, I want to see that where they go next, you know.
Next episode, they're going to be swimming for the Olympics.
They're literally going to have to swim all the way back to that shuttle.
Yeah. Like I think what's going to happen is we're going to have, like, Gregor, Rex, and Wolf turn up, or just Gregor and Rex. And then they're going to, like, fight the Empire and win. And then the war will be over.
I hope next episode is like a really long episode.
I feel like it has to be, because I feel like there's not enough time to wrap everything up in, like, 22 minutes.
Yeah, they always do a lot of work and good story stuff on their last episode, so fully fingers crossed. You know.
Yeah, fingers crossed it's something. It doesn't have to answer every question, but I feel like the main questions they've pointed out this season should be answered, like, what the fuck is up with Omega? Why was she created? What's the deal with her? Yeah. Like, they kind of just, like, haven't really talked about that. And, like, that's another thing. That felt like that was meant to be the main plot of the season. And then it switched to, like, oh, they're setting up a clone rebellion by having the Kaminoans talk about how they might have to fight back against the Empire, whilst then panning to the clones. Like, oh, we get into the clone Empire. But then it's like, then it became just, oh, the Bad Batch are just, like, going on side quests to level up their gear. I'm like, this isn't interesting to watch. Not alongside anything anyway. Yeah. It's just a lot of missed potential, but this episode is heading in a
a right
I
direction.
say it's heading in a positive direction,
Yeah.
but my problem with that is it seems to be only the beginning, like the premiere, like the first maybe 2 to 3 episodes, and then the 3 episodes of the ending of the show are good. So and then like the middle bit is just kind of iffy, of just not
Yeah.
really anything happening.
Hmm.
It felt like it was just stalling time to get to the finale, and I feel like I'm hoping that's not what we do with season 2. Like I get a feeling season 2 will like maybe open up strong, and then the middle will be iffy, but then the final like 3 episodes will be good. I'm hoping that's not a pattern that will actually happen, because if so, that's just annoying, and it just shows that we're not really putting any focus on the middle, and only caring about like the beginning and the end, and not the journey on how to get there.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's like, if you're not going to put a lot of attention to the middle of the show, make it 8 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I get what you mean, but I'm glad that it's heading in a right direction. You know, and I did think this episode was, it was good. I'll like this episode. There was a few things that let me down, but in terms of, like, there was more good that outweighed the bad, I'd say, but there is some issues with it.
Yeah, the thing is, the issues I feel like were just carried on from past episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about this show. I don't know why it is the way it is, but it's really frustrating. I can't really figure out what it is.
It's just they need to get better storylines.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, especially since they had a good storyline. Like, they could have had 2 separate stories of like Crosshair and Omega, finding out who Omega is and what that's about, and then you could have the other storyline on Crosshair's perspective, growing up to see like maybe a clone rebellion or something, or just seeing how it's like in the Empire, watching it grow. That could have been interesting, but instead they stuck to just focus on the Bad Batch, enjoying some of their most mundane shit they've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's so boring. Also, I find it funny that thing Stuart said about Sergeant Chris.
Uh-huh.
You know, how he was talking to Hunter, and he was like, "Oh, you've been like, you made quite a mess on Ryloth, and all that." And it's like, and we were like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that's like the only thing they've done that the Empire's noticed."
Yeah, because everything else has just sort of just been, I need you boys to go rescue this. I need you boys to go get more fucking crayons.
Like, fucking Bad Batch haven't really been noticed that much.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't done anything significant enough except for that.
Yeah, I feel like the Empire has just been like, oh, Clan Force 99, they're just shopping, so leave them. Or they're just
get out for
they're doing legal stuff, so just leave them.
Also, when they said, oh, you know they're going up on the elevator to the training room, and they told Omega to stay behind because of the Crosshairs and like the Empire aren't after Omega, and I was just kind of there like, are you fucking stupid? Of course they are.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, it's like they've sent like loads of people after. Oh, and
yeah. They've like 2 bounty hunters came after her because either the Kaminoans or the Empire
I think that was the
wanted it.
Kaminoans.
True, but they were still going to Camino, and they didn't know the Kaminoans weren't there at the time. So but even that being said, of course the Empire would want her anyway, just for the fact she's with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they want her? Especially since she's a clone. So I thought that was a bit of a strange choice of writing to make for that.
I get what you mean.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
What happened this episode? I don't remember.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's just, it was good. I like this episode. It was alright. It's probably one of the better episodes that we've got, but it's just, going into season 2, I hope they fix on a lot of mistakes from the first. It's like, for example, I wasn't a huge fan of Rebels season 1, but 2, 3, and 4 are amazing. And that's changed my perspective on Rebels a lot, so I hope that they just, they do a lot of course correction. But I feel like, it's like, for example...
I'm hoping they haven't got an ego thing. Where it's like, oh, if we don't like it, it's our fault. And like, nothing they're doing. I hope that's not the mentality
I reckon Flynn will listen to us.
Yeah, I hope so, man. He seems like the type to listen, so hopefully he will.
Yeah.
Like, actually make the Bad Batch proactive protagonists that don't just, like, get sent on side quests.
Yeah.
Because that's shit's boring.
Yeah.
And just not interesting to
I
watch.
get what you mean. Imagine if we had a show based on just Rex and Ahsoka. That'd be flipping awesome.
That'd be cool.
That would have been
But
cool.
then again, technically that's called Clone Wars. Think about it.
True.
Like, Siege of Mandalore.
True that. Is there anything else you want to
God.
touch upon?
I swear, if fucking Ahsoka turns up in the finale, I'll be so upset.
I don't think she will. I don't think she will.
I'm still placing my bets on Rex and Gregor turning up next episode. I don't see why they wouldn't at this point. Like, they already got Gregor.
I'd love to see some more
fucking
Rex,
annoy
to be honest with you. I hope they give some really cool storylines with Rex after the Clone Wars in Season 2.
I hope so too. I was thinking that we'd make Rex part of the Bad Batch for a while.
Yeah.
But I don't... Because, like, I'm cool with these clones being in it because they're clones and they actually know each other. And it kind of makes sense that they team up, especially since they don't have the inhibitor chips activated in them. So of course they team up. So I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah. I get what you mean. But it's just, I'm happy that this episode was just, it was decent, it was good. It's heading in the right direction. It's heading in a direction where I'm not overly worried, like, as much as I was halfway through the season. It's heading in a direction where it's actually getting some story stuff. And it is getting some story stuff.
Yeah.
So,
See, we're getting with story stuff, but I'm still worried about the pattern of how it's being told.
I just want character development for people that need it.
No, dude, we can't have that, okay?
But why not?
It's illegal around here.
Well, why not?
It's illegal. Because, man, why would we focus on that when we can watch the Bad Batch, like, walk down the street to go to the shops to then, like, go on a chase? We don't want... Why would we replace that with character development, man?
Well, you've sold me there. You've sold me there, to be fair.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I
think
I get what you do make good points. You should go work for Lucasfilm.
I will. I'll make, like, fucking side quests for the show.
Side quest the show, starring Lizard Lady and
You're a fucking lizard
5 clones.
Oh,
who do
dude.
fucking nothing.
5 clones who fuck off. Oh, also, question for you. But do you think anyone will die in the finale?
No, they won't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I reckon
If
the
they
most
do, I'll
that
be
will die
surprised.
is BZ.
Yeah. Although he's just a droid.
He'll get crushed by some Camino debris. Because if they're going to go into Season 2, obviously Crosshair's going to be with him. And he's going to be alright.
Yeah. He just goes, guys, I'm okay now. I'm on your side.
I'm on your side. Killing innocent people and planets is wrong.
Yeah.
I
See,
reckon...
that begs another question. Does that mean, depending on when Crosshair had a chip removed, does that mean he had them burn the bodies before or after his chip was removed?
What do you mean?
Because, like, he said he had his chip removed a long time ago. And then in episode 3, we saw him, he ordered his troops to burn down those, burn the fucking people in the woods on that planet where Saw Gerrera used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I wonder if, like, that was after his chip was removed or before it was.
It's not really explained. I'm just guessing that it was around the time where he took a flipping jet engine to the face. But that wasn't a long time ago.
That wasn't a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like last week.
It pretty much was just fucking last week.
Yeah. It would have been cool if
Oh, speaking of fucking crosshairs. Wait, no, you continue a minute.
it would have been cool if his chip never activated at all. Well, like
it would be, but it wouldn't make any sense because we saw them like increase.
Oh no,
its
yeah,
activation.
but what I mean is that his chip was like it never activated whatsoever. We still went through with all of it as like a concept.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, and it'd been cool to see if they actually built that up. And I hope they don't fucking try and pull that on us because it won't make any sense.
I don't think they will. They won't do.
What I was gonna say was,
won't.
Crosshair is kind of an idiot. Where you said the Bad Batch like betrayed him and left him for dead. But I'm like, wasn't you one?
You tried to
kill
murder
them
them
first? Yeah. Like they wanted you to come with them. You said no. when you try to murder them.
Yeah,
Like, of
what
course
are they
they're fucking
supposed to do?
Like, of course he's an idiot, man.
Yeah, you need to think through on that one, to be fair. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch upon? As in, yeah?
I'm trying to think. The Bad Batch should all go bold.
Okay, you're really reaching at the minute. I'm running out of things to say. But just as a quick roundup from me, this episode, there's a lot of things I didn't like, there's a lot of things I did like. I'll point out things I did like was the animation as well. Crosshair and Hunter was really good. It's just, that was majority of it. I just wish that they did a few more interesting things story-wise. Just a few unique things. There's things that we haven't really seen before, as in like we got to go rescue someone. It was a bit basic. It was sneak in, go get him, then leave. But
They did it again, man.
yeah, I wished it was
This is like they escalated from like a level 15 rescue mission to a level 100 rescue mission. That's all that happened.
I just wish that they did a newer things in newer ways.
Yeah, it's like they even had an opportunity to do that with, like, you know how we were saying the experiment on that mining planet or colony they found. They could have been exploring that, but I'm very like, is that even important now? Or is that just something there for like the audience to be like, ooh?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's gonna come back at some point, either now or season 2.
I am excited for the finale, to be honest with you, because I'm excited to see where things wrap up.
I swear, watch the finale be like a fucking side quest for Sid.
It won't be. I guarantee you it won't.
Do you know what I hope happens? I hope Sid comes in to try and rescue them and then she fucking dies. I think that'd be great.
You have no motivation to go rescue them.
Yeah, but exactly though. But maybe Greg was like, "Guy, we've got to do it, Sid," and she's like, "Oh."
Greg accidentally kills her. But no, in the Bad Batch, that means we can take all of her credits.
Like, oh, I'm gonna kill her.
Sound like they flipping swallowed their credits. Eat them.
He did, man.
You got to eat their credits. And then that does sound a plot of a side quest where they've finally got money.
They have to like, yeah.
Flipping Greg acts and eats the credits. We got to go get.
They have to wait for fucking Wrecker to ship the credits out. So they can use them.
This is probably one of the second to last Bad Batch season 1 video that we'll ever do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.